Okay, so today we are going to make dishwashing soap, okay? And it's going to be very simple. All you need is two ingredients, which is the Kirk's Castile soap and baking soda. This is going to be all natural, okay? Everything is going to be natural because this is premium 100% coconut oil. There's other stuff, of course, fragrance and scent and stuff like that. But anyway, but as natural as we can, okay? Since we're washing dishes. Now, you can pay for something like this right here, Dawn. This is actually only 2 point something quarts, which is 22 or 75 ounce, okay? 2.21 liter. That, it's almost $10. And yes, as always, I will link everything in the description. Now, optional stuff, okay? You can use vinegar, and vinegar, make sure to choose natural vinegar. You can add in, but after, okay? Because once it's cooled down, you can do that. Also, you can put borax. Now that just use borax. You don't want to use too much, but then you are turning it to a non-natural chemicals. I do not recommend it in this recipe because it is a natural. I wanted to make it as natural as I can, but although they said it's all natural ingredients, I don't trust them. But you can use borax. Now there's one ingredient that you see a lot of people using them, which is the super washing soda. I do not recommend using super washing soda as a dishwashing soap, okay? Is because you cannot use it on aluminum. Remember, aluminum pots and pan, you cannot use that. This you can. To wipe floors with, you can't use that. If it's wax floors, you can't use that. And if it's like treated surfaces, like for instance some treated countertops, like, or tables and stuff, you cannot use this at all because it'll scrape that away. Oh, you cannot use this on granite countertops either. And a lot of people and a lot of companies or whatever, they don't recommend using that either. So that's why, and you know how some people would use soap to wash their counters. And that's why we have to stick with the all natural, okay? And that's what this basic, it is so basic, but it's so natural. And that's why we're using that today. For hand-wise, you can put glycerin in there, okay? And castor oil. And you can buy these as well. You can buy these in like Walmart or something like that. And always when you put something like this right in here, it's 2 to 5% only. So measure your gallon and then add this in. If you want to add this in, you have to do it when it's hot, okay? That way everything is melted. Same thing with this. The only one that you don't want it hot is the vinegar. So if you do decide to make that you want the vinegar to go afterward, you can always add vinegar afterward. But for this formula here, I wanted to keep it as simple as we can. So all you need is bar soap, 1 bar of soap to a gallon of water, and baking soda. What we're going to do is just half of it, half only. It'll be half a gallon of hot water so I can mix everything in, and then I'm going to dump the cold water in afterward. That way it'll cool down quicker for me. Okay, so heat half a hot gallon of water, and then we're going to go into the mixing next. Okay, but like I stated before, I want to keep this formula as natural as I can. But if you want, there's 2 other ingredients that I will put in this formula because I like castor oil for softening the skin, and then the glycerin. Okay, those I'll do it later, but as of right now, that's what we're dealing with right now. So all you need is a measuring cup for your baking soda and the Castile soap. Now in this formula here, I wanted to make it at the same amount because remember, everything has to be 5%. So measure the 5% of that. The max that I would recommend is 5%. You can put whatever you want, but for me, for this here, I'm gonna put the equivalent of 4 ounces of the Castile soap and gonna be 4 ounces of baking soda. Okay, well, I figured I'd give you guys a whirled cutting soap. I know it's gonna be a short clip. Maybe it's gonna be a fun video cutting soap. Anyway, all you have to do is just cut this down, and I did measure my baking soda ahead of time because I'm preparing this to go into my hot water. So I figured I'd give you guys a whirl to see what I'm cutting. Basically, I'm just trying to cut this down to small. You can use a grater. I just can't happen to find mine right now, so I'm just using a knife instead, a steak knife. Not like a real steak. This is the real steak knife, not those cheesy steak knife. But so that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to wait for the water to be boiled. So basically I'm just cutting it out just to help it through, but if you have, like I said, a cheese grater, it will be a lot faster for you. Sometimes I actually hate it because it hurts my finger sometimes, but I can't find my grater right now, so I'm actually cutting soap. So I figured I'd give you guys a whirl. Okay, so now my water's boiling. I'm just gonna drop it in there and make sure to have something to stir with. These are our old stuff, and you don't want to use plastic because then it gets so hot. So I use a wooden spoon. That's why a lot of people use wooden spoon, but you can use whatever. But that's just a tip for you, because sometimes when you're making soap, especially when you put washing soda in it, it will take the coat off and it will start get really gucky. So the best thing to do is to use a wooden spoon. But anyway, that's just my preference and my choice and my tip. Once it's boiled, just drop this in and just keep stirring until it's melted, until you see everything's melted. You want the soap to go in first because it's easier to get the soap to melt. Baking soda is already like really melty already. Sorry, I'm trying to get a little bit of this in here because there's still some left. Baking soda is a lot easier to do. So because it's already like in, you know, little tiny pieces form or grain form or whatever you call them, or sand form or whatever. So you don't really need to mix that in, you know, first. You always want to put some your harsh, I would say your harshest things first. Now you can still see some of right here that I'm trying to break off right here. So you're gonna have to either leave it in there, or what you can do is you can put a oh god, I can't think, sorry, I can't think on top of my head. A blender, you know, those little portable blender in. But anyway, you don't need to see any of these. It's almost melted now. It'll take a little bit and see how it's forming. And I am still on hot heat, which I don't need to, but I just wanted to melt it faster. Those clumps that I have extra right here, but it's melting. Okay, so now I have everything cool down a little bit. And don't let it cool down too much if you're planning to put essential oil in, okay? In my case, my grandmother likes vanilla. So I wanted to put that extra in the scent. And remember, your castor oil and your glycerin oil, okay? Now remember, 2 to 5% of per gallon. Okay, that's up to you on that one. So if you take 128 and divide by maybe 2%, maybe 5%, maybe 3%, or whatever, that will be up to you. Okay, but for right now, I just want to put vanilla extract in because I just like the smell of it, and my grandmother liked the smell of it. So put in as much as you want. I just put it in just a little bit just to get the vanilla scent in, so it smells really good. And it's just the pure vanilla extract, okay? Sometimes I actually add other things in, but remember, this formula is supposed to be as natural as we could, so we don't need to do anything like that. And then at this time too, if you add your food coloring in, if you want the food coloring in, that would be another thing too. Also too, is that if you don't want to, there was a perfect example when I didn't let the cool down in my stove, and I put the baking soda in. Another way is to get a jug and put baking soda in, and then shake it. So that's what I did right here. And then now I'm going to make it so it can cool down, everything to cool down. And then you just stir this in together. And that's a whole gallon right there. Now remember, when it's warm, you mix both of them together. So that way the baking soda would have a chance to attach or chemically attached to the water and all the stuff. Well, basically the word is melt. So that way it will give a chance for it to melt down. But other than that, that's about it on this one right here. And wait until it cools down before you put it back in your jug, and it will thicken a little bit, okay? Once it cools down, it will be thickened just a little bit, not too much, but you can see. And it's starting to suds in already. But other than that, like I said, if you want to put your glycerin in, I'm going to put a little bit of glycerin in here, although I don't want to because there's no need to. Not at this formula, because this formula is going to be natural. It's going to be suds now. It's going to be too much suds. But that's basically how to make cheap dishwashing, but it's natural, and natural dishwashing soap, I should say. Now remember, wait until it cool down to transfer to your jugs, okay? And I have my jugs ready here. I'm just gonna wait until it cools down before I do it. But other than that, you zoomed out a little bit. Other than that, I think that's about it on this video, and I hope you would try it and you would save a lot of money. Okay, so I got a real bonus footage for you guys. I know I didn't think of making it, but we're gonna test it out. And the trick to this is that when you wash things like this, right here. My grandmother always taught me this. And maybe you can use something out of it. She said always rinse stuff with hot water first. Just rinse it. And leave it aside for a second. Okay? She said just to rinse it. Hot water won't cost a lot. Soaps and other stuff will cost more. When you're standing there and you're actually washing it, it will cost you more, she said. So hot water is actually more beneficial than a lot of people think. And that would take most of the stuff away as well. As you can see, one of the plate was really dirty, and look what happened now. Okay. The reason why I chose most of these stuff here, I actually have more, but I chose most of these stuff here because they're plastic. And we all know and we all hate when we wash dishes. Plastics, things, sometimes plastic doesn't work too well. And I have put some on here. I put some of the soap on here. So plastic doesn't work too well when it comes to washing things that have oil in them, or things that you know that it doesn't stick, like it doesn't stay or whatever, or I don't know what the word is, but that squeakiness, I guess you can say. And does it sets up? It sets up a little bit. You can see. See? Sets up a little bit. And I'm just going to demonstrate really short. Well, some of the stuff have grease on them. And by rinsing, like with hot water, like my grandmother said, it actually loosened the dirt too. So all these are plastic. I just did those, and look, they all suds up already. You see? Look how much suds there is. So people said that there's no suds or something. Yes, there is. You can see it right there. And I'm not using anything except for that soap. Even though baking soda's in, sometimes baking soda actually neutralize it, and that's why you want the. Some people would put borax, but like I stated earlier in the video, do not use washing soda, because then washing soda, when you take in order to make baking soda, it's actually they just took the oxygen out. From the formula, the water from the formula, liquid oxygen, I guess, to I forgot the formula now, but anyway, so what happened is it took the water out by burning it, by heating it up. So when that happens, it actually creates a it becomes bicarbonate. I'm sorry, it becomes carbonate rather than be bicarbonate. And you see this rim right here? This rim right here is actually aluminum. And that's why I said earlier, a lot of people, a lot of formulas on YouTube have washing soda in them. And you do not want washing soda, okay? Because that is carbonate. Sodium carbonate rather than sodium bicarbonate. Okay? Sodium bicarbonate is baking soda. And that's why I said not to heat up too much. Wait till it cools down a little bit, or like I did before, I cool it down in In my other half, remember I did half a gallon of hot and half a gallon of cold. That way, when it cools down, I'll be able to mix it together. That way I don't change the chemical in the baking soda. And see? Does this squeak clean? Yep. And that's why I said before. Now this is just a measuring thing. Now this is the food thing right here. My dog eats out of this. And you know how pet is. And it's all squeaky. Okay? Now, remember I said before too, you can put vinegar onto this too. So literally, you can add your vinegar to it. I would say a cup. Literally, I would add a whole cup of vinegar. Vinegar is cheap, especially the cleaning vinegar. Okay, go to the store and get the cleaning vinegar. Oh, I forgot to show you the. Let's see if it's squeaky. Yup. I forgot to show the squeakiness of it. This is the dish right here. These two, I don't know which one now because it's been cleaned. This is the one that gets stuck. I left it overnight and it gets stuck. See? Nothing there. And nothing there. Let me look really close. Yep, most of them is gone. All of them is gone. So yeah, that's the one that I left overnight and gets stuck. So I was thinking that it won't take off, and yes it does. And now glass. See, I chose things so I can demonstrate on the video here. Squeaky. And is it clean? Yes. And now my last thing. Now remember, I do not recommend washing soda, okay? Please remember that one. I've learned a lot from washing soda, but you're more than welcome to do whatever you wish. Some of these is like it's not taking out. I don't know what that is. I'm going to try to see if I can get that out. Nope, I think that's stuck from there. Okay, so now we know that's stuck. Now let's try Dawn. Hey, I can make a regular, my do-I self soap versus Dawn, right? Let's stick that in and see if it removes it. Here's the Dawn test. Nope. Spot's still there. So it is in the pan. So it has nothing to do with the soap. I thought it has to do something with the soap, but nope. I'm just showing you this on the video because I'm just curious as you are. My grandmother been making this, and but she actually add a lot of baking soda. I mean, vinegar into it because she likes vinegar. I don't. But see, that is not part of it because I did it with Dawn, and after I wash it with regular stuff, and it didn't come out, so that's part of the thing. But let me wash it again so I can show it to you. Because I was washing that with Dawn. This is regular soap right here. This is the Do It DIY soap right here. And let me wash this off too, because I had Dawn in there. Nope, it won't come out, but does it clean? Yes. See? Same thing, same principle. It's just less suds. Maybe that's another way you can do. You can add in your Dawn. If you want a lot of suds, you can add Dawn to it. But the baking soda does act as antibacterial. The coconut that is in here, although coconut oils are not supposed to be antibacterial, but there is antibacterial in there. I've researched about coconut oil, and it is. So that's another good thing too, because that soap there has coconut oil in them. So anyway, my only thing is I think from concluding to this, after washing this, there's no difference on that. The only thing is suds wise, but like I said, you can probably add Dawn or what is it called, sodium hydroxide. That's pretty much lye right there. You can add that in, but remember, this is all natural, and I just want to include this clip in that it does wash it. And like I stated before, add vinegar in if you want. If you want everything to be natural, just add vinegar. So it would be vinegar, baking soda, and the Kirk's bar of soap. And if you want it extra thick, put another bar in. So that way it would be $2, about $2 something, because I got it for sorry, a little correction on it, $1.20, $1.20 something each per bar. It's about, I would say, about $1.20. So in this one here, it's about $1.40 per gallon. Remember that. And if you want it thicker, just put another bar of soap in. But you can tell in my hand that's enough. But that will be up to you on that. If you want a little extra thick, or you want it like really jelly or something, put an extra bar in. That will be okay. Baking soda stays the same. I would say 1 cup per gallon, and then in my case I only use half, but if you wanted to use 1 cup per gallon, you can. Vinegar, I am going to probably put, because my gram likes vinegar, I'm going to put it in after I do this video, because I don't want it to do it without that, because remember, this video is supposed to be all natural. So I'm going to put vinegar in afterward. But other than that, see the description, see what my formula is and what's regular formula. I'm going to put 2 formulas down there, and then you can make it yourself. But other than that, you saw the test and you see how it is. Other than that, that's about it. I'll see you in the next video.